Well, good morning. Good to have you. I hope you had a good weekend. Had a good service on Sunday, a good service on Friday, and thankful for the resurrection. Thankful for the time of year that we're able to celebrate that, and hope that you enjoyed yourself, had a good weekend as well, and whatever it found you doing, I hope that it was at least a good time. Well, let's get into our study here this morning. We're in First John chapter number 4, and oftentimes it's kind of like, okay, well, how do I know if what I'm really believing is the truth? And maybe you've had these thoughts, or maybe you haven't, but there are times where individuals will be like, okay, so such and such a religion, they claim that what they believe is true, and everyone follows them. And then there's another religion, and they say that what they believe is true, and everyone follows them. And then you've got another one, and how do we know what's true? And we sit here and we say, no, they're wrong and we're right. But they say, no, we're right and they're wrong. How do you know? And that's a legitimate question. And it's one that I think a lot of people have. I think it's also one that a lot of people are scared to ask, to be honest with you, because the risk of being labeled a heretic or whatever, and that should not be the case. We need to be able to have good answers as to why this is the case. So, what is it that sets Christianity apart from other religions? If you've followed me much, you've heard me say that Christianity is first and foremost a relationship, not just another religion, and it is. I do think that is one of the key distinctions. The fact that we serve a risen Savior is certainly going to be another clear distinction. Many of these other religions have had their leaders pass on and are dead. They may still worship them and so forth, but that is not the case for us. We look at the Bible as the authority by which we are to believe and by which we are to live. And so this now becomes the authority for both our faith as well as our practice. But there are other religions that have a book that they say, well, this is authoritative, or this is more authoritative. Mormonism, for example, the Book of Mormon is more authoritative than the Bible because it's more recent in its revelation to Joseph Smith. So how do we know these things aren't true? And that's a good question. Well, it's answered for us here, at least in part, in First John chapter number 4. And what you'll discover is that with all of the various religions that are out there, the key is, what do they believe about Jesus? And this is where it really begins to separate itself. There are lots of religions that will believe in God, the existence of God. They may even worship what they believe to be God. The key is not as much there, but more, what do they believe about Jesus? And John brings this test up. Now, once again, it's very clear to us that just because someone makes a claim does not mean that that claim is valid. They say, well, this is right. Okay, well, that doesn't mean anything. That means that is their opinion. Can this be uh, validated? Can this be substantiated? If it can't, then okay, well, so and so can believe all they want, but that does not mean I have to accept it. And it doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean they're wrong either. Just that's just their position on things. So here's what we look at. First John chapter number 4, beginning in verse number 1. John says, beloved, okay, these are dearly loved individuals. So here's the note of compassion for them. Believe not every spirit, but try or test the spirits whether they are of God. Okay, so do not just simply trust every spirit that comes around. Now, a spirit here is not necessarily in the sense of as we might think a Holy Spirit. This is probably more in the sense of a messenger who is coming along and making these kinds of claims. Okay, so I'm not to just blindly put my trust in whatever this spirit says, okay, whatever this uh, claim is. And again, I think in this context, we're really dealing with a human, a person that's coming along and making these claims. But he says, test or try the spirits. Okay, so in other words, I need to put them and I need to examine them. I need to put them up to a test. The word was oftentimes used to describe in this context uh, a like a piece of pottery, for example, and it would be possible for one to develop a crack in it, and someone could glaze over that crack and then paint it, and it would look fine. But if you were to hold that up to the light, you'd discover very quickly that this particular um, device or this particular vessel has a crack in it, and because that sun would shine through that crack. And so he says, okay, you need to put these things to the test. All right, here's the reality. There are many false prophets that are gone out into the world. There are lots of people who are going out into the world making all sorts of claims. That does not mean that these claims are valid claims. Okay, they're just going out there. This is what they're doing. So the reality that there are a lot of false prophets out there now needs to say, okay, wait a minute now. I need to exercise some discernment here with what I believe. Okay, so how do I know? Well, that's what he answers in verse 2. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Here's how I know that this is truly from God. Every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. Every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is not come in the flesh is not of God. Okay, so here's the test. The test is those who come along and make the claim and acknowledge the claim that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh. Okay, now there's a lot that is in that statement. Keep in mind the names of Jesus, okay? Matthew chapter 1. Joseph was told, thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. So Jesus is oftentimes understood as the earthly name that he was given. Christ is the term for the Messiah or the anointed one. It is used all throughout the Old Testament, and it is used to picture Christ as the Son of God. Okay, so what is happening is with this claim that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, it is a claim that recognizes that this one who lived on the earth nearly 2,000 years ago is both God and man at the same time. Now, false religions do not believe that. False religions will look at Jesus and say, well, he was a good man, he's a good role model, he's a good teacher, he's a prophet, he's a great model. Okay, the lists go on and on. Do they believe that he is God? And incidentally, sometimes it's not as important about what they say, but also what they don't say. And sometimes there are some statements that are left out that are equally important that are going to define for us what these individuals truly believe. So, a person that acknowledges the deity of Jesus Christ as one who came in the flesh, okay, then he's of God. But the one who does not is not from God. In fact, John goes on and he says, verse 3, this is that spirit of Antichrist, the one who is in opposition to Christ, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. So John speaks in Revelation of the Antichrist that's going to come at the end, well, that's going to come in the tribulation period. And John here in this text is speaking about individuals who are Antichrist, okay? They are in opposition to him. Now, they are that spirit of the one that is going to come later on, but yet they are manifest now. They're still visible here now. So there's this reality that is out there. And the reality is that there are people who believe all sorts of different things. So-and-so believes he's right. So-and-so believes he's right. They have two opposite opinions. Logic says they cannot both be right. They could both be wrong, but they cannot both be right. And so now, how do we put our test to this? And how do we know as believers that we are in fact right? Okay, well, because of our belief about Jesus Christ. This is the test. And those who believe this are going to be spirits that are sent from God. And those who do not, then obviously they are not. Now, there are other tests that we can apply as well. You know, there may be a Christian who is misguided. Okay, well, we still have to understand that we need to recognize there are other principles to follow and biblical instruction and so forth. And so all that needs to also be part of that reality as well. So there's some realities there, and but I think it helps us at least say, okay, well, yeah, good. I believe this, and I'm on the right path, and I am, and I'm not going to get to heaven and find out that actually, so to speak, I was wrong. Okay. as far as salvation goes. Now, I may be wrong on some other things, but I'm not going to be wrong as far as salvation goes. So it gives us some confidence, gives us the ability to kind of face a day or face challenges with realities of who we are and the opportunities that we have as well. So I appreciate each one of you being on here. Good morning to each of you. We've got Kids Zone tonight, and looking forward to that time. That'll be meal starting at 5:45, and 6:30 will be the program. Looking forward to what the Lord has for us tonight, and so hope you're able to be a part of that. And if you need some assistance getting there, let us know. We'll try to provide that as well. But be in prayer for that program. Pray that it goes well, and look forward to it tonight. Appreciate you guys. Lord willing, I will see you back here in the morning. Hope you have a great day today. God bless you guys. Take care.